The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised. You know, I was supposed to be on a podcast with a Star Wars fan, a big Star Wars fan, and he just loved the pictures. He loved the movies, the nostalgia of them. Did you know this man?
Well, of course I know him. It was me.
Hey there, Cinema Nuts. Welcome back to No Country for Old Films. I'm Regs and he's Tommy.
Hello.
And today we are just two pretty fucking useless robots. One of us is useless and the other one's really, really important. But the other one's a bitch. And we start and end this film, basically.
Pretty much. And in an age where the cinema-plexes are all gone and your favorite sci-fi opera has been replayed, had prequels, had sequels, had TV shows, had character prequels, and so much more. We are living in the world of nostalgia, ladies and gentlemen, and we are looking back at the movies that we loved growing up. And we are talking today, Regan. We are talking about a phenomenal movie. But how are you, mate?
Good. How are you?
Mate.
Can you remind me why the fuck we're doing this movie again? There's another movie coming out.
There are so many things. It is not only the 49th anniversary of Star Wars, meaning that next year will be the 50th, so we're a little bit early. But it's also the first Star Wars movie in cinemas since 2019 is coming out, which is The Mandalorian and/or Grogu. So we are doing this in preparation for much of Star Wars Us, which we're very excited about. So
excellent.
On that note, Regan, on with the show?
On with the show.
Star Wars.
Picture this, Regan. Picture this, if you will, in your force mind brain. The year is 1977. Annie Hall wins Best Picture at the Oscars. Elvis dies, and we lose the king overnight. The first Apple II is released. Voyager spacecraft launches into space, takes humans to the reach of the stars. Meanwhile, disco is everywhere, and we all love a bit of disco. And somewhere, a scrappy little space opera asks the question, what if? What if a Star Wars, Regan? What if a Star Wars?
What if of a Star Wars?
So excited to talk to you about this
space
film.
Conflict. Out of this world fights.
I have so many feelings about this film, and I'd love to know. Well, I'd love to kick off by asking you first and foremost, Regan, what are your memories about this? Did you have it on VHS?
Yeah, I think we had my auntie, who I might have spoken about on previous episodes, who had
the fantastic house and TV.
Had the great house, and it was childless. She had the original VHSs, like when they were released, the proper versions before he went and fucked with them in the 90s.
We're going to talk about that.
I don't recall like the original cuts. I don't like, if you were to show them to me now, I would understand what was missing, but I don't remember them well because it's been too long of watching the ones that have been adjusted. Like even last night, watching the extra scene with Jabba at the beginning and all that guff. But my memory is more of Jedi, actually, because that was the one that I watched the most as a kid. I just liked the wooded areas. I like the quiet. I mean, sure, it's filled with fucking little technology. Yeah, it's filled with little,
munchkins,
hairy midget people running around and spearing stuff. But it seems like a nice planet otherwise.
I mean, it does. My experience of this growing up was one. I mean, I have so much nostalgia for this film, like so much. So we've talked before about our living room having a cupboard which has just a plethora of all the movies that I kind of grew up with on videotape and eventually evolved to DVDs. And this was one that was just a staple. Obviously, it came out like 10 years before I was born, so I would have never seen this in the cinemas. But we had it taped off TV, so we had a taped off TV version. And as children, me and my two brothers, we watched this so much that we wore the VHS out. Like it just collapsed in on itself. So we then went and bought like the actual VHS copy. I think I remember being at like a Scholastic Book Fair, as you would call it nowadays. And they had it there, and it was like the original sleeve and everything. And it was like £3 or something crazy back in those days. And I remember like begging my mum to buy like the full version. So we had like the full version. And my nostalgia for this is, as you talk about, you know, George Lucas, who we'll talk about, has made tweaks and changes over the years, and you can now technically only watch the digitally remastered, mass quotation marks, one. But all my memories are of the original. So, like, you know, like Mos Eisley is this little town with a few folks just tutting around.
Yeah,
like,
just a couple of dudes.
Yeah, like not like fucking dinosaurs and weird spacecraft shit floating around. Like, and so when we were watching for this, I kind of wanted that nostalgia hit, and I was going on YouTube and watching the original scenes occasionally in parallel with the newer ones, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have so much nostalgia for this," but it's really hard to find. It's so hard. To find.
It's someone's done a cut of it, and you can kind of procure it by nefarious means.
You can illegally download that shit
on the high seas. But yeah, it's interesting to go back and make alterations like that, and then also not allow people, like if they release the original versions in 4K on Disney Plus, their subscriptions would skyrocket.
I honestly think, I mentioned before, it's the 50th anniversary next year.
They're going to do it, right?
They're doing it for that, and they're probably doing like a physical release, and also, even though Disney's reducing their physical releases for some reason.
Yeah, because they don't want people to not get on the streaming service. Because
they want to own everything forever, which is, you know, that's historically very Disney. But I think they might do something for that. But
it's also very Empire.
But no, I actually think, yeah, it really is. But I actually think it's to do with the contract that George Lucas had with them. Because I think he, as part of his contract, sort of said, this is the definitive version of them and the only one I want to be shown. So I think it's part of his contract. And it's really interesting.
No, you've got to show the ones that I want you to show.
Is that Kermit the Frog?
No, that's George Lucas.
Well, then I will be Obi-Wan Kenobi for the rest of the episode.
That's a pretty fucking good Alec Guinness.
I'm doing it. I'm going to do it forever. I really like Alec Guinness in this. And we're going to talk about it. So let's talk a little bit then about Review Rewind. Talk to me about your nostalgia for this. Tell me about your love for this film and rewatching it.
Well, it's a fucking ass magnet. Like, you just put it on. Like, I had to watch it late last night. I got home from the show. It's an ass magnet. You fucking heard me about it, all right?
Well, Han Solo certainly is.
He is space sex.
Just like incredible.
Until he has that crown. Until the sequel, when Billy Dee Williams comes in and you're like, actually, he's space sex.
He's
like,
a beautiful man in there.
This is a guy who is shirtless most of the time. He's only got a shirt on right now because he's doing business.
I want to be shirtless.
Hey, no one on the internet would complain, buddy. You are a white Lando Calrissian, that's for sure.
Blue milk I'm cheersing you with.
I've got some... I don't know, whatever Jabba's got in his little thing. Fucking meth, probably. Yeah, anyway, you said something really interesting after you'd rewatched it, because, I rewatched it late last night. And yes, it is an ass magnet. You just sort of, as soon as it gets... You're like, okay, I'm in. But yeah, you said that it's quaint and kind of... what was the other word that you used?
Hokey.
You said it was sort of... Say again?
Hokey.
It's kind of hokey, yeah. But you also said the pace was off. Right. And counterpoint to that, think about the sort of typical length of movies these days. Let's take Project Hail Mary, for example. It was closing in on fucking 3 hours. It was like 2 hours and 30 minutes or something.
FYI, go check out our podcast assemble episode on that. That was an excellent film.
It's a good episode. I love it. And it's a good film as well. But 2.5 hours-ish,
long time.
Right? And see what it does. You know, it does a lot of world building, all that stuff, but it's quite a small film by comparison to this, because this film, and I've sort of written it down here, in 2 hours and 5 minutes, they set up this vast universe, a mythology, an evil government that has its own planet-sized death base
as well.
Yeah, exactly. A resistance. 3 independent heroes, a religion.
If you include Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Well, he's sort of like the sage, you know, the older guy who helps the thing. But I'm thinking more about your 3 principles there. A religion and fucking space Hitler. Like, it It's amazing that they condense all that into one movie.
I feel like Darth Vader's more Goebbels in this. Like Hitler surely is.
Space Goebbels.
Isn't he?
He is a bit of a company man, isn't he?
Yeah, he is a little bit. But you're absolutely right. And I like the two things I mentioned to you when I was watching this, and when I was saying hokey, I mean that in the nicest possible way. I mean that as in like,
yeah, of course.
This was like a warm hug to me when I was watching it. I was like, there's a fantastic line in How I Met Your Mother where the main character's been described by Jason Segal's character, and he says, Ted watches Star Wars when he's happy, when he's sad, when he's unwell. You know, like it's that kind of thing to me. When I was a kid, I could just put this on, and again, it's that, you know, like that burst onto screen. It's just fantastic. But I wanted to preface very quickly up top, like, every single opinion of this film has been said on the internet. We know that. We are absolutely clear on that. We're not
What
idiots.
new can you say about Star Wars?
And if you have a different opinion to us, dear viewer, dear person, yours is right too. We don't care. We're just talking about that we love this film. And you made a fabulous point there, Egan. Like, what a cast. Like, I wanted to be Han Solo, and you might recognize this because I said this about Indiana Jones. I wanted to be Han Solo growing up. Like, that was my favorite character in this. He had that rogue charm and that charisma, and it was just so apparent all the influences on him, which we'll talk about. But I did want to mention to you, there was technically another 3 who could have been those characters, and your mind's gonna be blown when you hear the third one. If
Different
you don't know
actors
already. Yes, there's another 3 actors who could have been those characters. So Luke Skywalker could have been Will Seltzer. Not sure if I fully agree with that. Exactly.
He sounds like he sells fizzy water.
Right. Does he not?
He must now, yeah.
Princess Leia could have been Terry Nunn. Also, you know, not quite as big a household name. But by far my absolute favorite, the person who could have been Han Solo would have been Christopher Walken. Now, couldn't you just imagine another universe where that's the movie? It's like, look, Leia, you got to get over here.
You had to do it.
I love it.
You had to do the impression. Everybody does.
He's got one of my favorite voices in
shooting
film.
Kid.
Nice.
Don't get cocky. It was Kurt Russell auditioned as well.
Yeah, he did. He auditioned too. I think it was more the 3 we got, you know, the absolutely phenomenal 3 we got, you know, Mark Hamill. Why am I forgetting names today? Carrie Fisher. Oh my God. One of my all-time favorite actors of all time. Han Solo himself. You know,
Harrison Ford.
I didn't even finish saying his name then. I just carried on with the conversation.
You
Harrison
know.
Ford. Like, I think effectively from the research I've done comes down to the fact that they were available on the day when they started filming.
Well, I mean,
which is crazy.
Harrison Ford was in American Graffiti.
He was.
And
Lucas
didn't want to just be like, oh, I don't want to be like fucking the guy who just casts the same dude all the time. So he was just in there
reading lines.
Reading lines with the other actors. And he was by far, even when you see those, when he's reading with all the different ladies, killed it. You know?
And he was just a carpenter on set, apparently. Like, he was just working as a carpenter. So, like, and again, everybody knows this about this film, but I like, in hindsight, watching back with all the hokiness and all the glory of the original version, it just layers so much onto it. And when you watch it in the knowledge,
it layers so much onto it. Ooh! Putting jokes in his normal thing. He's just he's talking.
When you Princess Leia, all the stuff on top of it, like, this is clearly an amalgamation.
Well done, double downing on that joke.
You're more than welcome. Sorry, it'll come back later in the podcast. It's an amalgamation of all the things that, you know, George Lucas grew up with. So, like, those 50s sci-fi serials, you can see that in the cuts between the different scenes, and, you know, it's Dune, it's Flash Gordon, and it's so apparent that, you know, like, the famous story is that George Lucas wanted to make a remake of Flash Gordon, but he couldn't get the rights. You can see that in this. And just, you know, watching back with all the nostalgia of this, I was like, fuck, that's so obvious. And I love that about this. What else? Yeah. What else did you know when you were a kid and you were watching this? What else made you feel?
Well, you know, I think it's probably the score and the sounds are what give them most nostalgia. Like, the score 100%. Has absolutely no business being that good.
Yes. No,
it has no business being as good as it is. And the one moment that I noticed it last night was the introduction of Luke when he comes out after his uncle's gone, you can't fucking go and join the army. I need you to be my slave on this farm. And he goes out and he's looking at the two moons and Luke's theme, like, like just, it's incredible. And the sounds, as soon as the film opens and the scroll stops and you hear those lasers firing at Leia's ship. Pew, pew. Yeah, or the lightsaber coming out, like they're so ingrained as a part. Like, name me another movie that's its soundscape is as iconic as the film itself. I can't even think of one.
It's
you know,
real hard. And I've got a question for you. In fact, I'm gonna throw it out there now. As we're talking about, you know, the things that make this fabulous, I would suggest this might be certainly the best sci-fi trilogy of all time, if not one of top 3 trilogies of all time. I would say the only other ones I can think of that hit the same notes are things like Dune, which I realize is a new movie and clearly takes a lot, the Denis Villeneuve version takes a lot of inspiration from this in its sound design with things like the thumpers and, you know, like the various weapons and the shields they all wear. Like, there's a love there that you feel from this Star Wars movie. But I wonder do you feel the same about trilogies, including sci-fi trilogies? Sci-fi?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really. It's kind of, funny enough, this will be part of the game at the end. It kind of changed everything. Like, up until that point, from about 1968 to about 1976 or something like that, there was this like proliferation of young, you know, pop filmmakers. And all of these corporations were, you know, all of these studios were owned by corporations, and they didn't know how to make movies.
Doesn't that feel very present?
Yeah, right. But there was less oversight. They were like, oh, what do people want?
Yeah,
movies for young people by young people. You know, Easy Rider comes out, and they're like, just throw money at these guys. And we have this incredible decade of independent cinema that really did, like, all of my favorite movies are from that period of time. And then Star Wars comes out. And it changes the game. Like, it becomes, oh, this is the blockbuster is born. Cinema. Like, this is the thing now. And the detractors that you had after this film, like, you cannot overstate its effect on popular culture. There isn't a single person on planet Earth who doesn't know what Star Wars is, unless they're, it can't. There is no other. There is no other trilogy that does what this does. I don't think, anyway.
I 100% agree. And the nostalgia of this for me goes further than that. Like, it's not just a movie that I would sit and watch. Like, and I'd sit and watch it on my own. I would watch it with my brothers. I would watch it with my dad. I'd watch it with my friends. Like, it was, you know, like, it was a ubiquitous movie. Everybody loved it. And I struggle to think of anyone who could say this original trilogy, they don't like it. And I think there's a lot of great influences on this that, you know, like things like 2001: A Space Odyssey, and it's got a very, you know, Dr. Evil sort of Leia vibe in the Death Star itself. And it didn't just imprint on sci-fi culture. It was all of popular culture. And like, you can see that in so many things, and it's great. And like, sometimes in my head, I struggle to delineate from the various and thousands of parodies of this, you know, Family Guy, Space, but it's all great, but never ever. When we were talking about Scream a couple of weeks ago, there are things in there where you get confused and you go like, oh, is that Scream or is that Scary Movie? Whereas with this, you know, and not just because it's from 1977, you just know.
Yeah, and all, like you said, all the talk that can be done about Star Wars has been done about Star Wars,
of course.
Particularly all the gags,
of course.
Like, you know, all the gags have been made. The other thing that I noticed this time on a rewatch is Carrie Fisher. Now look, she's a space babe. She's a total space
absolute babe.
Probably one of my, along with her and Helen Slater from the original Supergirl movie, or my first crushes.
Okay.
But Carrie Fisher is a fucking badass.
Oh, legend.
Like, she was an incredible actress. She was a great script doctor. Like, she worked on a lot of massive films that you're not ready to know what she worked on, like Blues Brothers and shit.
So many.
And she was also an incredible advocate for like sobriety. She had a lot of struggles with alcohol and drug abuse. But regardless of who she was as a person, who I absolutely respect, and it's a bummer that she's gone, the character of Princess Leia is so far ahead of her time.
Oh, amazing.
Like, she is, like, legitimately the hero of this film, I feel.
She's no damsel in distress, let's say that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And the thing that really gets me about it, hang on, I had an actual, so she's a fucking gangster. She's a princess. She's a warrior. She's a spy. Like, when she grabs the pistol off Han and just starts cleaning those guys out, she gets tortured in this movie. She goes head to head with Darth Vader, the fucking space Hitler himself. She's a warrior woman who has to tumble around with these simple fucks, this fucking walking erection, and this farmer boy who she has to save all the time. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. And a huge dog man. It's incredible. Like, really, I've watched this movie hundreds of times, and this was the time where I was like, this is Leia's film. And in a way, it's Leia's trilogy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would absolutely say that. I think she's... Yeah. It's fantastic you bring up her, like, personal side as well, because I think a lot of that gets overlooked by the gold bra from from Return.
Yeah, the sexualization of her, the sexualizing, of her in Jedi is. I mean, look, it's fucking hot. It is the outfit and all that kind of stuff, but it was clearly not what she wanted. Yeah, and that's not cool that happened and that she was uncomfortable with it. But it has become that. But I also feel like if you just had this, then I feel like people would have learned better lessons and not been such fucking assholes when 100%. Females had lead roles in the more recent ones, like in the middle one where it was the young Asian girl and everyone lost their fucking minds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if they didn't get to that point, you know?
I agree. And if I may go back just 1 second, my very first screen crush was Gillian Anderson in The X-Files. There was something dangerous about her that I absolutely adore. Like, obviously, like, you know, Princess Leia was great, but to me, as a young man growing up and looking at it now, I have a very different opinion, similar to what you've been saying. But it kind of, like, the sister thing, I always felt very sisterly towards her in a weird way.
Princess Leia.
Yeah, I think she was Luke's sister, and the sexiest man of all time is going to have sex with her by the end of the film, which I could never in a million years stand up to. Yeah, I'm like, if Han Solo's getting in there, I get it. You're good. You don't need little old me. Like, I'm happy here. So Gillian Anderson,
look, if Harrison Ford turned up to our houses now, we would be single 100%. Like that.
I watched Shrinking recently, which is a very recent Apple TV show, which is fantastic, and Harrison Ford is amazing in it, even as
it's the role of his career.
Man. Yeah. It's a role made for him, 100%. Just like this, even though he was, they were trying to cast other people. This is his, role. The
lovable rogue.
It's not just Gillian Anderson. Sorry, I thought I'd mention Kimberly from Power Rangers as well. Just to throw that out there. So I have a question for you.
She was the Pink Ranger?
Yes, she was. Oh, my gosh. Question for you then, Regan. What is your most memorable scene from this film? Because there's a lot. There's a lot of really standout things and ones that I remember as a kid.
I feel like it's hard. You got to kind of break it up into sections because the film does so many different things. It's kind of, well, for starters, it's
three different. Yeah, it
is. Yeah, it's in terms of like structure, it's perfect screenwriting structure. Like it's sharp as a tack and almost to the page count of where things need to happen. I'm sorry, I'm just running through my notes here. I feel like when Luke calls the sand people, it sounds like a slur. Just as a little side note. Sand people, But in terms of my favorite scenes, I think probably, I don't know.
I've actually got 3, so I can help you out here a little bit if you want.
Yeah, you go. I mean, for one though, Utini.
Utini?
The Jawa. Utini! The Jawas. Yeah. And that word apparently is a lot of their language.
Oh, just over and over
just
again.
Saying Utini. Yeah. I really like that scene where they're buying the droids. I don't know why. Maybe I just
that's
like
interesting.
commerce.
That's fun. Mine. I mean, I mentioned Mos Eisley a minute ago. That's one of my favorite scenes. And like, I think as a kid, I never really quite realized how weird that scene is. Like watching it now, like the devil's there. Why on earth is the devil
straight
in Star
up? The
Wars?
devil is in there.
With, it's got this weird grin on him as well. It's like,
yeah,
it's like what's happening here? But that whole scene, and you know how old mate Ben Kenobi pulls out his lightsaber and just de-arms that guy just casually. It's like but like he doesn't really move. He just kind of goes like, and you're like, he's done that way too often.
Far more elegant and not as clumsy as a blaster. Right. Yes.
Why don't you reach out with the Force, Luke?
Close your eyes and reach out. Reach out for this. Reach out for this. So yes, that's the lightsaber.
I know it feels fleshy, but backwards. Don't stop.
That's how you turn it on.
One of my favorite memes is, and it's been done to death again, but it's fantastic. It's a meme of like Darth Vader and Luke standing across from each other, just like cartoon versions. And Darth turns his lightsaber on, he goes, and then Luke goes to flick his on, and it just starts vibrating in his hand, and he goes like, "What?" And then it flips to a picture of like a scene of Princess Leia, and she goes, "Boop," and just a lightsaber cuts her in.
That's great.
It's perfect. It's literally the funniest thing.
There's a lot of men and women use vibrators.
Whatever you want.
Just so you know, the internet, that's just what happens in life. Men and women and people of all sorts use vibrators. But
Wookiees.
A lot of females like this movie, and a lot of them have lightsaber dildos. Like they're made en masse, I'm sure of it.
That's a new t-shirt.
And Wookiees, did you say?
I own a lightsaber dildo. There you go. That's
what's that? Sorry,
you said men and women, and I said and Wookiees. But I think we should make a t-shirt out of I own a lightsaber dildo. That's today's t-shirt.
Another t-shirt for the T Public Store.
It's back, baby. I do think my two actual favorite scenes in this film are one, the first space battle in the Millennium Falcon when Luke's in that weird little seat and he's like shoot, and they're trying to escape the Empire. I don't know why. There's something about that. It's just so fresh and different, and they're on different ends of the spaceship, and they're both. It's the tactical maneuver versus the guy. I love it, even though Luke is absolutely not going to be that good at that after doing it once.
Well, all of a sudden it becomes. It's three things, this movie. It's a Western, it's a samurai picture, and then as soon as that happens, it's a fucking aerial battle movie, like a war movie, you know?
Well, they used, so a lot of the aerial battle stuff, they actually used World War II footage and basically copied the footage.
Yeah, well, that's what when Lucas showed it to all of his filmmaking buddies, and they all fucking panned it except for Spielberg. He didn't have all this stuff. All he had was dogfight footage cut in to sort of be like, this is what it's gonna look like. And Brian De Palma was like, that's a piece of shit.
Fuck Brian.
Yeah, well, we've seen your movies too, mate.
Yeah. I was watching a documentary about Hulk Hogan last night, and for some reason Werner Herzog was in it, and I was like, why?
Why on earth is Werner Herzog in it?
He's like, he sounds like the Emperor himself. I was like, why is he in this?
Werner Herzog.
So random.
Why am I in this documentary?
He would be a good Emperor if you could go back and re-record it now with him. He would be the perfect Emperor. When you see the Emperor in this as well, isn't it something like it's something ridiculous like a chimp with human eyes, and the voice is a woman's voice. I'm sure there's a piece of trivia about that which I've misremembered, but it's really weird, really weird.
That part.
And just to finish, I think one of my most memorable scenes is the board meeting where, and what I tell you what's really interesting, because you mentioned they've created Space Hitler in this. In the first one, I get the impression Darth Vader isn't like this all-powerful, all-wielding, all-attention-grabbing being. Because like in that meeting, when he does the first choke out, which is a little bit, like it's not as cool when he just does it with two fingers.
When he does it with a whole hand, it's much better.
Yeah, when it's like...
Which is how I feel about
Princess Leia.
Other things. I love having a video show because I can just be subtle and wink and they know what I'm saying.
Keep using
the force. No, not the thumb and forefinger, all of the force.
Rude.
This has gotten ruder. That scene when it's like just a board meeting and they're just talking about politics and space war in such a bureaucratic way. I don't know why. There's something about that, and I'm just like, this is just so interesting. And the one guy is really dismissive of Darth Vader. He's like, get out you with your space wizardry and your ancient religion and all this. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm just
your
like,
lack of faith disturbing. So
all of
good.
that. Like, you're right. It does build Darth Vader up from there onwards. But at the same time, it sort of, it shows the ancientness of this universe galaxy that we never really get otherwise, I don't think. So what do you then, do you have, after me saying all of that?
So no, it's fine. Like I was saying, it's these different things, and you're absolutely right. That last, and it's really only 15 minutes of the film that is the run on the Death Star.
Totally.
Where they explain,
really weird shot.
where they explain what needs to happen. And Luke totally cuts that guy's out from the knees, and he's like, "Oh, I fucking used to shoot wampa rats and shit. They're no bigger than that." And he's like, "Bitch, I'm a fucking pilot all the time.
Been here for 100 years. What are you talking about?
I'm a fucking amazing shot. I can't do it. Fucking with your force and shit. That use the forks. The run, you know, how it keeps going down into the trench, and then, you know, Vader comes along with his two pals and he's like, cover me, and just that whole dogfight sequence. Phenomenal. I used to watch that on just that because I wanted to be a pilot when I was a kid, but I was dumb as a bucket of shrimp, so I couldn't manage it.
Well, you couldn't have been a space pilot. We can say that much.
Yeah. What's 3 times 3, Riggs? 33. No, you can't be a pilot. You cannot be a pilot if you think that's 33.
I've never heard that. That's fantastic. That's one of my favorite scenes. I mean, everything's my favorite scene. It's just like wall to wall, a phenomenal movie.
Is it your favorite of the trilogy?
Yes, I think so.
I feel like everybody goes Empire, but it's just more happens. It's not any better.
I think the thing about Empire is it's the problem. And we're gonna at some point get back around to talking about the Lord of the Rings films, which are some of my absolute favorite all-time films. So the first one is my favorite in both of these trilogies because it's the group all together, right? So like the Fellowship is the Fellowship. It's all of them together, and it's before Boromir dies on that book that's from the 1950s. It's before Boromir
we don't need
dies.
to spoil as Lord of the Rings, no.
Right, and everyone's together, and it's that camaraderie, and you know, it's the scenes when Boromir's playing with Merry and Pippin. That sounds really weird. When they're joking around, and that he's teaching them
thumb and forefinger,
teaching them sword fighting. It's that, and that's what the beginning of this film is, when it's, you know, Chewie, Han, Leia, and Luke, and they're together and they're escaping, and then they, you know, like all of that is what makes this movie. And Han coming back, you know, at the very end, it's cathartic. It's this fantastic release. You're like, he didn't leave them, even though he has boxes and boxes and boxes of credits, which that's a lot of money, by the way. So like, I think that breaking up of the main trio in the second one, for a lot of it, you know, like Luke's off with Yoda, etc., it doesn't quite have the same jive to me. And like, as much as I love Billy D. Williams, he is no weird little white farmer boy. It's like having the two most charismatic people on screen at all time. It's not quite the same as great as it is. So yeah, I think the first one's my favorite. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really do that with these movies because I see them as a piece. Oh, I don't. And one of my favorite things that happens is, all right, well then fuck and you. Probably, if I'm being perfectly honest, it's probably Jedi for nostalgic reasons because it's the one I've seen the most. The beginning of that film, and that's the other thing as well. You say Han comes back and he's, you know, let's blow this thing and go home, and then you see them all, and he's like, I knew you wouldn't leave us, and they hug each other really aggressively. It's amazing. Like, fucking hell, is this going to pop off right now? Like,
they're going back for that threesome right now. They're going back for it.
They're going back to get medals and then get to sucking and fucking, if you know what I'm saying. He comes back and all that stuff, and then he ends up kind of joining the rebellion, and he's like, oh, no, I've got to leave, you know, on Hoth. And she's like, oh, yeah, of course you do. You know, we were just about getting into it and having our, you know, our throuple. But he puts off paying off Jabba so much that the bounty hunters find him and he gets put in carbonite. So it really is... like, he really does sacrifice everything just to come back and save Luke. And the scene in Jedi where Luke comes to get him from Jabba's palace, and he's a proper Jedi now. You know, you will bring Han Solo and the Wookiee to me, like that. I love that version of Luke, the one who's like confident in his abilities now. That's why I have trouble separating them. Yeah, it's kind of. He looks like it's his going out attire.
And I tell you that the thing that really gets me about this film is like the and this is silly, and this is massively foresight, and we're going to go into that in just a moment. But like the fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi or Old Ben in this still wears his Jedi robes, even though all of the Empire is searching for him, is baffling to me.
I'm just searching for Jedi.
Just change, like have a. You can wear anything. Like
it's comfy. I like this.
I get a nice breeze coming up through the bottom. It's like a dress. It keeps my privates nice.
They do look like jammies, right?
Yeah, it feels great.
All the Jedi look very comfy.
Speaking of him, though,
and the only other thing that sort of stuck out. Sorry, were you saying something?
No. You can cut
the other thing that stuck out, is definitely Harrison Ford's comedy chops. Even then, like, everything's fine now, we're fine, how are you, like that kind of Midwest accent. He's like, fuck, what have I done? But Ben dying and Luke screaming and getting so upset, and then later on he's like, I miss Ben. In hindsight, it's kind of ridiculous because he's known him for about 72 hours.
You're getting ahead of yourself. You're getting to my miscellaneous notes, so I have a great...
Am I? Yeah, right. Yeah. I just feel like you might be overdoing it, kid. I mean, fuck, I've had longer relationships with bottles of shampoo. Like,
We established last week that you don't use conditioner.
No, I don't, in case I ever have to get into a Mortal Kombat situation.
Of course, just in case
that's
you get
absolutely
into
right.
The Mortal Kombat realm. I would say that the Ben Kenobi death, I always ask you which is your favorite kill. I would call this a death, I would say, in this.
Yeah.
He's possibly the most iconic death in movie history. It's got to be top 5 easily. Like, there are other fantastic ones. You think The Godfather, like there's plenty of good deaths on screen. But the way... he just turns his lightsaber off, gives a rogue grin, and then just gets like swiped. You just like, can you imagine seeing that in the cinema? All of this. Can you imagine seeing this in the cinema for the first time? And then that happens, and you're like, what?
What a benefit of no hindsight would be to see this film, to just be like, what are we going to see? What's it called? Star Wars. Oh, cool. And just go and see this with...
Wars?
Yeah. Are they warring in the stars?
What are they doing here?
But to have none of the sequels, none of the prequels, none of the fucking IP, none of that. It's just this single film alone. It would have been absolutely... No wonder it's like the second highest grossing film of all time after inflation, Like it's... I mean, there's all the great trivia about George Lucas. It completely changed the game.
There's all the great trivia about George Lucas, who effectively took like a lower salary so he could keep the merchandising rights and made billions of dollars.
Clever.
Billions.
Yeah, he was a good businessman, if nothing else.
And we haven't really talked about this yet, but like I remember having the toys as a kid. We had they're not like good ones, not things that you could like sell these days, but like the ones that we play with them all the time, like the little Han Solo. You remember the real original ones that looked like shit?
Yeah,
could have literally been anyone, but you knew it was Han Solo. You had the dark vest on, or as you
they actually clothes on. Yeah, it wasn't just the plate. Yeah, I did some promotional work for a toy store here in Melbourne called Lobo's. And we were doing some stuff for an American TV show, and I had to film in the store, and they have an entire aisle of Star Wars stuff that's probably worth $1 million, just because of how rare some of this shit is,
Oh, and you've literally just unlocked a core memory in me, and this is something that I may have repressed for many, many years. I'll be on my therapist's chair one day talking about this. So as kids, we had like the original Millennium Falcon toy. We had it.
Get the fuck out of here!
You remember the big one that was, like it had all. You could take the top off and you saw all inside. We had that, and our mum gave it away. She just gave it away. And like that thing's probably worth thousands of dollars nowadays. And I remember
Rose.
I remember very vividly one day coming home and being like, oh, where's that gone? And Matt was like, my brother was like, Mum gave it away.
I bet he was shaking on the floor in the fetal position.
We love that.
I bet your mum's kicking herself now. That shit would have paid off her mortgage.
She doesn't care. She's just like, what was it again?
The what? That's not even words.
What are you talking about? It's a grey space toy. Shut up. Slap. Those are different times. I think in this film, I was watching it and I was trying to decide, and I like to do this when I watch films, which character you would be while we were watching it. And My favorite one for you in this, I think, is R2-D2, because you are knowledgeable. You have all the right tools to get the right temperature through the storm. You have, knowledge. You've got the force projection. You've got the projection of Princess Leia, but nobody listens to you, and everybody takes the piss out of you, and you get shot halfway through, which makes you even worse. I feel like that's you.
But I take that as such a huge compliment, because R2 is my favorite character.
He's the best
in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
He's such a sassy bitch.
Yeah, he really is.
But no, he's not a sassy bitch. He's really, really.
No, he's like so low-minded.
Here's the projection thing. Oh, if you take off my restraining bolt, by the way, these things are slaves. It's fucked up. People treat robots like shit. Take off my restraining bolt and I'll be able to play back the whole message. And he's like, oh, okay, you're not going to run off on me. Snap. Peace. And he's fucking bolts to find Obi-Wan. He's a total pimp. I love him. And also the relationship between him and C-3PO. I said to a friend last night who's in the show, I was like, do you reckon they're lovers? And she's like, well, no, because C-3PO is asexual and R2-D2's like, isn't sentient like that. I'm like, R2-D2 is kind of a butt plug. But anyway. I
mean, I'm sure somebody has created that. R2-D2 is a butt plug. T-shirt number 2 for the podcast. Absolutely has to be.
But he's more like their relationship is more like the odd couple, it's like Felix and the other dude. And it's just he's like, no, I don't think he likes you. No, I don't like you either. Just that, the inaudible sort of stuff Phenomenal. That you get the information of is so great.
And he was originally going to be English dialogue R2-D2, but I think they changed it at the last minute because it's so much better and like it gives the audience so much more agency when you let them read in what they want. Like C-3PO could be saying fucking anything. He could be lying the whole time about what R2-D2 is saying, which I really like. He might even not actually be translating. He obviously is, but like I love that because it gives you agency as a viewer, and that's great. I really like that.
Absolutely.
My favorite piece of trivia about this, and I wrote down 3, but this is probably my favorite one. I'm going to say 2, actually. My favorite piece of trivia was that George Lucas was so sure that this was going to be a flop. He actually went on holiday to Hawaii with Steven Spielberg. And it was on that vacation they came up with the idea for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well,
Isn't phenomenal.
Lucas pitched it to him. He's like, I'm thinking about doing like a Saturday matinee sequel and called Indiana Smith. And
correct.
And Spielberg was like, that sounds pretty good, but Indiana Jones is better.
Isn't it? But that's the dog's name. I love that. I can't wait for a reason to talk about Indiana Jones with you. I literally
it's happening.
I can't. All of them. Wait.
I don't even give a shit.
I'll do them weekly, periodically, whatever you want. We'll
do them in sequence.
The other one was, and this was something I'd never actually read before. I mean, there's plenty to go on here, but the body count in this film. And this is something as a child. The body count in this, not Leia's body count, the body count in this film.
Right.
Could be both. Is 2.003 billion. So 2002795,192, which is wild. So you think about it's all of Alderaan, everyone on the Death Star, and all. I mean, if you include the droids and civilians, is even higher. So like this is a wild amount of deaths for one film, and the opening film specifically.
Yeah. The fact that the bad guys in this, like, just to give you an idea of how fucking evil the Empire is, they straight up destroy a planet
just for funsies.
Like, that's mundicide. That is genocide.
That one, please. We'll destroy that one over there.
And they do it.
They're
like, tell us where the fucking base is. And she's like, it's on Dantooine. And they're like, cool, thanks, bitch. And then blow that up anyway. And she's like, what the fuck? I told you.
We'll save your stuff. We won't break your toys if you tell us where the real toys are. And they're like, well, actually, fuck it. Break the toys anyway.
Yeah. Snap. Yeah. It is absolutely brutal.
Going back a second, you mentioned a scene that you would fast forward and rewinded. Are there any other ones rewatching this that you were either fast forwarding or rewinding in a
No, not really. Like I said, it's just that last space battle that I used to like watch a bit more. And Luke screaming used to bug me as a kid. I didn't like that. It's the same as a Superman screaming. When your hero freaks out, it can be a bit difficult. But
I have to be completely transparent with you. Like, I have seen this a billion times. I've seen this as many times as the word deaths on the Death Star. And rewatching it this time, like there is a bit of drag at the start of the third act when they go to the base and they're going through the plans and they're talking about how they're going to do it and how Luke can hit a swamp rat from 1,000 yards. And I was a bit like, I get it. Get back to the space fights. Come on. Get there.
That might be your impatience because you know the story. If you didn't know the story,
course.
that scene's really important.
It is.
Like,
It's absolutely important.
There's no
important
wasted
characters.
scenes
Mon
here.
Mothma's there, etc. Like everyone in that's great. Like and they're all good actors.
Mothma.
Oh, Mothma.
That's the other thing about these names. Like, why do they fucking make sense?
Yeah, right.
Is it only because we have previous with it? But then when they introduce new ones, you're like, yeah, that makes sense too. It's like the Wu-Tang name generator, you know, like they all sound right. It's
absolutely right, and it's wild. And we talked about, and I didn't do this justice. We talked about my favorite podcast last time we were on here, which is the Weekly Planet, and their two co-hosts, James and Mason, Nick Mason. They make this point, and I love this, and I have to credit them for this. That you don't know, it's a galaxy far, far away, etc., and so on and so forth. They make this point that these people could all be 100 foot tall. How the fuck do you know what they're like? Like they could be like this could be the Ant-Man universe. You know what I mean?
Oh
like,
man,
you're projecting your own values onto this film immediately, which I absolutely love. And those guys are fantastic, and I will talk about them till the cows come home. If you like podcasts, go and listen to the Weekly Planet and all of their subsequent materials. But yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think a bit that I actually rewound while I was watching this, and it's a thing I'm going to mention. Actually, I think I'm ruining one of my miscellaneous notes, but that's fine. Is I realized for the first time the jump cut when they turn on the lightsabers. Like, I don't think I'd ever seen that. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Let's go back 10, 20 seconds. And it's like every time. It's phenomenal.
It's the same as when a blast door opens or closes.
Right. Absolutely. Let's talk a bit about the modern rewatch verdict then, Regan. So does nostalgia hurt or hinder your rewatch of this film?
Really hurt or hinder. There's the two negatives.
Yes, they are.
Help or hinder.
I'm glad that you picked that up because I was
that's fine.
Going to skate on by.
I think, for you, maybe it was because you felt the time or you felt the pace lag or whatever. For me, it's just like I said, it's a nice oil bath that I hop into and nearly come. This is going to feel so good on my parts. And every time I watch it, I'm glad I'm watching it.
I'm 100% the same.
Yeah, I do feel like it kind of speaks to me a little bit more now because the Force is basically Taoism. And I find that really, really interesting. The idea that there is a collective, unified field of energy that is around all of us and is part of everything, and it's just the natural order, and that you can tap into that and use it for meditation or healing or whatever. And it's just to the nth degree. You can use it to see lasers before they get shot, or see what the hole is that you need to get two little balls in.
I also like the ambiguity of the Force in this, right? Like, and I know as this has evolved, this galaxy and universe, and thousands of supplementary materials. We joked about it at the beginning, but like there's literally thousands. There's comic books, whatever you want. Yeah. But how simple and the subtlety of it in this first film is just great. Like and that is a problem I have with modern movie making. Everything has to be explained. It's the Netflix thing. It's you have to say what you're doing in the scene or recap what you've just done for the audience who's half on their phone. This is just like, it's like, like you'll learn it when you learn it. Like you'll know when you know. And I'm like, I fucking love that. Like, and as a kid, like, I think that's why I was so invested in it. I was like, it gives you agency to imagine. Like I always imagined like the Jedi Knights, like your Ben Kenobis could like effectively see the Force. I know that sounds stupid, but like it was actually kind of backed up in that Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Like, when he sees Qui-Gon Jinn at the end walking along, I'm like, I feel like that's kind of how I imagined it as a kid. Like the stronger you are in the Force, like if you're a Vader or the Emperor, like you can almost see the Force around and manipulate it, which is really.
It's like when Neo becomes the One and you can see the gridding and all that stuff. Yeah. I feel like the idea and the one of the tenets of Taoism is that there is no deity as well. There's no deities in the Force. Yep. They midichlorians and all that kind of guff that they bring in the prequels. Forget about. But
they were
just the idea
wanted to have
that
in this. George Lucas wanted to have midichlorians in this film, but they he had his wife at the time, whose name's gonna escape me. It's Marsha something. She nixed it. She's one of the best editors he ever had, and why this is so tight.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's it's probably for the best. I think the idea of this kind of the ethereal, the untouchable, the something, out of the realm of our full understanding it's interesting, and that it can be tapped into like that.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I was thinking about last night that I think is really critical, especially on rewatching the first one,
just Marsha Lucas. Sorry.
That's all right. Marsha Lucas. There you go. She feels better now. That's okay. She's,
she definitely had a name before that. Oh, there you go.
Her and George Lucas are both watching.
Marsha Griffin.
Every time someone does a Star Wars something, George gets a Google alert. He's like, "Oh, another one." Oh,
his phone just constantly going like this. It's
like
a rave in his pocket.
I'm just going to turn on the Star Wars phone.
It's like okay. That's how R2D2 sounds.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like he's at a rave. People need to get over especially watching this first one, Star Wars, forget, episode whatever, A New Hope, just Star Wars straight up.
It is.
People need to get over their shit. And Star Wars pop culture in general. Like, if you don't like something, like parts of a whole, ignore it.
Yeah, like
nothing changes. Like, except Lucas when he changes it himself. If you don't like The Last Jedi or whatever the fuck, then it doesn't mean A New Hope is different when you watch it or is altered in any way. Miles Davis said, he was asked once, do you like, you don't like the word jazz? He says, no, I don't like the term jazz. For me, it's social music. It's all the social melodies out there in the air. And he says, and the guy interviewing him says, what do you think about popular music these days? Do you like it? And he's like, yeah, that's the social music I'm talking about. You take what you want and you leave what you don't like. Mm-hmm. Like, if you think Mandalorian is the business, fucking great. That's awesome. That doesn't mean that the rest of it sucks. Yeah. Like get some priorities, people.
100%. And I mean, Star Wars is one of those fandoms.
It's really ugly in a lot of places.
I would say
it's fucking racist and sexist, and it's the opposite of everything this movie is. Strong female characters, great representation, a rebellion of all people going up against dog people, a rebellion going up against mostly white old dudes. Like, think about it for a second, folks. If you're looking at these movies and going, I hate the fact that there's an Asian woman in it, or I hate the fact that there's a black, stormtrooper in it, you're the fucking problem.
You're part of the Empire. You realize
you're the Empire, motherfuck.
I tell you what's really interesting. And sidebar, apologies, I'm going to go on a side note. You were talking about Miles Davis there, who I absolutely love, by the way. Did you know Otis Redding never got to hear Sitting on the Dock of the Bay? Let that sink in. He recorded it, and as it was being mastered and finished, he died. I believe in a plane crash. I might be wrong. He died before it was finished being completely mastered.
It was a TIE fighter crash, actually.
No, actually, Darth Vader choked him to death with 2 fingers.
I find your lack of listening to this song disturbing.
That's such one of the best songs of all time.
Right? Isn't that fascinating? Like, just out of it, and I heard that fact recently, and I thought I'd share it. Please.
Everyone was waiting for someone to bring up Otis Redding on our Star Wars episodes. When are they going to fucking talk about it?
When are they going to bring Otis? Which side of the Force would he be on? Obviously, the good side. He's one of the best.
Absolutely.
There's, and just going a slightly different tangent to what you're saying. Like, I agree. I feel like fandoms need to calm down, and just sitting and enjoying the movies that you enjoy is absolutely fine. And one of the things that I really enjoy about this is like the absolute epic scale of it. And I think from the moment this film opens, it grabs me in a way that none of the other films have. And I think directors nowadays really struggle with. And I watched a really interesting piece, I've forgotten the creator's name, but it was on YouTube, about how Denis Villeneuve has remastered scale, because he does a great thing whereby he uses shots from your level looking at the thing to really give you perspective. You think about the shot of Ryan Gosling in which Ryan Gosling 2049, and it's the giant, which everybody wants, Ana de Armas, sort of like bending over, but it's because it's from his and that perspective and that scale, it just immediately overwhelms you in a great way the first time you see this. And I said, imagine being 1977 seeing this in cinema for the first time. Can you just imagine? Like, you get this, and you're like, fuck, this is a lot. And then all of a sudden, this thing emerges that takes up the whole screen and your whole like, it would just be overwhelming in the best possible way.
Well, there's nothing. There are science fiction movies previous to this, but nothing looked like this. Nothing had the, like you said, the scale or the ambition.
Ambition,
like that's the thing that people get wrong about. I mean, George Lucas wasn't the best filmmaker or screenwriter or anything like that, but fuck, he knew what he wanted.
And you don't meet Luke, who's let's say call him the hero. We talked about it in Leia's film, but you don't meet Luke, the sort of through road for this, until like 20 plus minutes into the film. It lets you breathe in this universe. It's that thing that you said, throws you into a universe that's already been created, start late, which is great. And like, that's one of the things I love about this. It's all about it. We're going to get into miscellaneous notes and move forward in just a moment, but I did want to say one thing. For this film deals with death weirdly. Weirdly. So, first and foremost, the first deaths you really catch in this film are Luke's aunt and uncle dying, who he gets over in half a day. Kind of just moves on. He's just like, well, they were holding me back. I don't mind about it. And then Leia's entire planet.
And fuck blue milk.
Right. Leia's entire planet gets blown up. And then just moments later, she's consolidating Luke, who lost a dude who was possibly on Epstein's island. No, he wasn't. That's harsh. He lost a dude who was a mentor to him for maybe 2 days. And you're like, hang on. She just lost over 1 billion people, and you're consoling this fucking idiot. What are we doing here? Like it deals with death very oddly.
I like the idea that a guy who was on the Epstein list got fucking got relegated to a sand planet as opposed to going to trial.
Yeah. He ran away.
I mean,
he did run away.
Let's be perfectly honest. Why don't we take that list and drop all of those motherfuckers on Tatooine, you know?
Let's do it. I mean,
near the Sarlacc pit,
nice.
please.
Please, straight in that mouth. All right, quick miscellaneous notes for you before we move on.
Straight in that mouth, by the way.
That's what they all said.
I couldn't go past it. Sorry, miscellaneous notes.
You nearly touched on it a moment ago, but fuck me, C-3PO's a bitch in this. He's so bitchy the whole time. The things he calls R2-D2, I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Splice one in here.
Don't you call me a mindless philosopher, you overweight glob of grease. What message? The one you've just been playing. The one you're carrying inside your rusty innards.
You barely know the guy. Weird. There is then a comment by Ben Kenobi, who, going back to your joke a moment ago, literally says the Force penetrates us. I was like, does it, Ben? Does it now? Well, you're covering young Luke's eyes. And
he also jumps on it pretty quickly. He's like, okay, so I get this message from Leia. Your father was a Jedi, and I trained him, and he was killed by this person who's actually really him, but you won't find that until next movie. And then he gets the thing, and he's like, Luke, you have to fucking come, because I'm old and shit. I can't fight nobody. Like, I don't even have any skills anymore.
I don't have knees anymore. They broke down in the 60s.
They broke down in the 60s.
I've been working off one half knee for this long. You're gonna have to carry me, Luke. Luke,
I'm basically droid from the knees down. I'm fucking useless. I used to be able to levitate and shit.
I used to be able to feel my penis, but I can't even see it anymore.
You're gonna have to do that too.
Go back to my other favorite podcast. They have a segment that they bring back sometimes, which is Rude Obi-Wan Kenobi, and this is all perfect for that. I think.
Yes. There you go.
Nick Mason, you can steal this if you ever watch this.
Obi-Wan, you blow me. Yep. Another t-shirt.
How long have you been waiting to say that?
No, it just came in then. Just popped in. Sometimes they just pop in there.
Obi-Wan, you blow me. Final bit of miscellaneous notes is...
Question mark. Obi-Wan, you blow me? What? It's one of those things like where someone says, like loser says what? And they're like, you know what I mean? Okay.
Oh, I thought it was more like Anchorman, where he'll just say anything. He's just like... Obi-Wan, you blow me?
You blow me? Yeah.
You blow me? A final miscellaneous note is just that, when they're saving Leia and they go down into the trash compactor, and it's... I really like that scene, but it's a scene that I probably fast forward these days because I've seen it so many times. Why on earth do they take their stormtrooper outfits off the minute they leave? That's never made sense to me in my entire life. Like, you're still undercover. You're still in disguise. But you just... And then the great scene where Han Solo chases the stormtroopers, like, that's cool. But You could carry on blending in. There's no reason to
Yeah.
take them off.
But I feel like if those helmets and the sort of they're all waterlogged from being, they'd be fucking leeches and shit, and they probably stink. Like walking past other stormtroopers and being like, "Hey guys, you need to wash your uniforms. You smell like fucking trash and piss and shit." They would stand out more.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
You can have that
Yeah.
one.
Thanks.
Do you want to do a game show?
I fucking can't wait for this one. Oh, it's going to be a good time.
Just a reminder.
All right, everybody.
We got 5 out of 5 last time, so it can only be downhill from here.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think you'll do all right. This game show is called Space Conflict. So yeah, this particular game show is because we were talking about how there was so many like detractors after this, you know, so many films that tried to kind of capitalize on the science fiction energy that was in the zeitgeist. This is kind of Star Wars and Star Wars adjacent science fiction movies of around the same time. Okay. Question number uno.
Hello.
Name the villain in the 1980 film Flash Gordon.
Oh man, fuck. Yeah, I haven't even thought about Flash Gordon until I started doing my research for this film. I literally couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Ming the Merciless.
That's right. Ming.
It's Ming. That's okay.
Minus
That's
one.
okay.
I should
4
have
more
done
opportunities.
Ming the Merciless.
Ming the Merciless. He was merciless, in fact. And he's played by a white man. With
Again,
tape
we're back to
there.
talking about.
That's true.
About Short Circuit, aren't we? Oh.
Yes, yeah. Max von Sydow, who I'm pretty sure is German and not Asian, was Ming the Merciless. Ming the Merciless. Okay. Question number 2.
Yes.
What was the subtitle of the 1985 Ewoks movie?
Oh my god!
It was
know
Ewoks.
This. Oh, fuck me! I know this. It's gone from my brain. I'm going to say Quest for Peace just because I think it's funny. That would be a funny film. I want to watch that film.
Where Superman turns up and throws all the nuclear weapons that are on Endor into the moon. Or whatever.
Comes in, blocks the big space ray and actually saves Leia's home planet, Alderaan.
Saves Alderaan, yeah. No, okay, it's Battle for something.
That's right.
The Battle for...
I can't remember. It's gone from my brain. It's too
the Battle for Endor.
That's right. I knew I was going to do
Terrible.
Batman this week. I just had a feeling.
Terrible. In what year was the last Starfighter released? Have you seen the last Starfighter?
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking tens of years ago.
It's worth a rewatch. It's actually quite good.
I know it's I think it's the 80s.
Yeah,
so
1981, 1983, or 1984.
It's either, I'm gonna say 84, but I think it might be 81.
No, 84.
Yes,
There you go. You got one.
Thank
Two
God.
more opportunities. now.
God, imagine if I got 0. That'd be a
Yeah,
bad
I know.
day,
I was a
especially on
bit
the
worried.
Star
I was
Wars
like, we might have to
episode.
excise this particular game show
Nah, I
because
like
it's
it. It's
terrible. What is the name of the Darth Vader replacement in Spaceballs? Like, what's the proxy for him in Spaceballs?
Well, you know what? I've never seen Spaceballs. We've talked about this on this podcast. I've never seen. I know the meme, and I know all.
Well,
of
we'll
it.
be doing it next year when the new one comes out. So
100%,
yeah, you'll learn.
100%
So you
will.
don't know it all?
No, I have no idea.
It's Dark Helmet.
Dark Helmet. You see that's penetrated my brain at least once, so I know that's there. Go on.
There's a lot of penetration going on in this
Oh,
episode.
so many.
And finally,
Yeah.
give me your best Alec Guinness. That's no moon.
Because that's quite an introspective moment. That's not an
is,
overwhelming
yeah.
moment. It's like,
He's like, oh shit, I've got us into this.
that's no moon.
Nice hit on the double O.
Because he does. He goes
That's
for it.
no moon. Yeah, fucking.
That's no moon.
Yep. And he's like, oh shit, I've bought this fucking teenager and a couple of scallywags out here in space, and we're all going to get fucking space murdered.
I love Alex Guinness in this. We haven't talked about him enough. He brings a gravitas to this film that otherwise I don't think it would have had.
No, absolutely not.
When you
And
have,
he fucking hated it too. Like, he really didn't want to be there. And yet he's totally committed. Like, it's such a great performance.
well, that's what's great about him. Like, and you see, and like, I feel you don't get that with actors nowadays. Like, the other one I compare it to is The Muppets Christmas Carol. You know, where you've got one of my favorite actors of all time, Michael Caine. But it depends on the era, because when he's a bit older, he talks a bit slower.
Of course he does.
It has it like that. He's completely committed to being in a movie with Muppets, and hence brings the joke, which I'm going to do for this podcast, but I usually do on Podcast Assemble. If you could remove every single actor in this and replace him with Muppets, bar one, keep one character, everyone else is a Muppet. Who is the human?
Leia.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because she's the first hero you meet, like I said, and then all of a sudden she's got to help all these fucking Muppets who are inept.
So many inept Muppets. There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many.
And Kermit is Luke, and Fozzie is Han. No, Fozzie would be Chewie, obviously, and Gonzo would be Han.
Gonzo would be Han. Absolutely. I love that. That's the right answer. Just throwing it out there.
Thank you.
There is a second option, which would be Tarkin, which I think would be hilarious because
Tarkin would be the only human.
Because he's quite he's quite uppity and he feels like he's better than everyone. So he's just like looking down on all these Muppets like, who are these idiots I work with?
Yeah.
It's great.
With Peter Cushing's total seriousness.
100%. This
love
does that great thing of having all the bad guys as English, which I love and has been a staple in films ever since.
Yes, absolutely.
There's too many things to talk about with this film, but we're going to have to wrap it up, Regan.
We do.
One final question before we finish the show. If you kind of almost mentioned this before, if you could remove this from your life to either remove it or watch it again from scratch, and you can say the rest of Star Wars as well, because obviously there's too much, would you do it?
Well, yeah, there's an argument for two. One would be I wouldn't know about all the fucking horrible fan discourse if I removed it.
Let's just say the year is 1977 and a film called Star Wars has just popped into cinemas.
Yeah.
Would you go back to that date to watch this completely?
100%. Yeah. It's one of those movies that you do want a time machine for, you know, like to 100%. Just go there and even if you knew about it, be part of that experience.
Oh, I would fucking love that. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for this fantastic episode of No Country for Old Films. We love doing this. This is one of my favorite times of the week. I love going back to revisit these fantastic films. So come back next time and let us know which films we should talk about, which you love, which you grew up with. A huge thank you, as always, to the phenomenal Wiley Risso for doing our fantastic artwork. We love it. It is No Country for Old Films. You can find him on Instagram at Wiley Risso. That's WYLEERISSO. Thank you, as always, to Johnny for our fantastic theme music, which I assume is playing in the background right now. And is almost as iconic as that fantastic Star Wars theme tune. Thank you.
I bet if I asked him for a Star Wars-based version of it, he'd deliver it like that. And he's going to listen to this episode, and I bet you he gives it.
Maybe we should do that for this. That'd be amazing if you could.
Yeah.
But no pressure, Johnny. We love you anyway. What are your memories of Star Wars 1977? Were you there at the time? Were you a youth growing up now looking back at this saying, my God, this is hokey? Were you inspired to become a Jedi Master? Let us know. You can find us on all the usual social medias. You can find us at No Country for Old Films on Instagram, on TikTok. We're everywhere. We're YouTube. This is YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for looking at our faces. We appreciate you for probably over an hour at this point. Or you can send us an email. We are nocountryforallfilms@gmail.com. And while you're doing all that stuff, give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, a 5-star, things that help with algorithms, things we will never understand. And
Regan, give a shit about.
We do, because we want you to see this. And Regan, please.
I mean, give a shit about understanding them.
100%. I don't need to know that. But if whatever helps, you know. Whatever helps, you know. We get it. Regan, don't forget to put the vibrating lightsaber back before returning. Don't forget to rewind before returning, my friends.
Oh, teeny!